What is good, Ghost Mafians? Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast with your host, Mr. Ghost, where we bring the facts and the truth to the table. And as Christians, followers of Jesus Christ, it is our duty to shine that light upon the darkness, to expose the hypocrisy, the lies, and the evil in this fallen world. In today's episode, guys, we're going to be diving into the arrest of Nick Sortor. For those who are not familiar with who he is, Nick Sortor is an independent journalist. He's an influencer. He has a massive, really good following on the internet. And he was arrested out in Portland. It has been stated that he was jumped by a bunch of protesters. And when he was able to get away from them, he went to the police. And after about 7-8 minute conversation with law enforcement, they arrested him on the sole charge of disorderly conduct. And I noticed police departments, when they don't agree with you and they don't agree with your narrative and you're pushing for accountability on somebody, whether if they broke the law or accountability of law enforcement in general to do their job, they love the weaponized disorderly conduct. I know from personal experience, they love that particular charge. It's just a misdemeanor, no big deal. But this is a big deal because, well, he was assaulted. And those who assaulted him pretty much got away with it. And he now got arrested. And now the federal government's going to investigate the Portland Police Bureau. They're going to investigate this arrest because there is an inherent problem in Portland when it comes to their police not arresting protesters that are, you can see, blatantly destroying public property. They're defacing public property. They are committing disorderly conduct. It's difference between protesting and rioting. Protesting, you're standing there with your picket signs, you're being peaceful. Rioters like chaos, and they obviously hurl objects, they deface property, they burn property, and that's been happening for quite some time down in Portland, and it's been going to amplify because now Trump is sending in the military, rightfully so, because if you cannot control your own city, you can't control your people, well, then the federal government has to step in to bring law and order. Our country is built on those principalities of law and order. There's no other way around it. So we're going to dive into this. All right, guys. So Nick ended up posting on his X account that the Assistant Attorney General, Harmit DeLeon, roast me in the comments if I said that wrong. I'm pretty good at butchering last names since 1985. Has already sent a letter to the city of Portland demanding documents related to the Portland PD's targeted arrest of him, as well as a refusal to arrest the assaulter of Katie Davis Court. So they end up sending a letter down to the city, which is Robert Taylor, who's the city attorney, as well as Bob Day, the chief of police. So she ends up sending out a letter saying, "Dear Mr. Taylor and Chief Day, your immediate attention to this matter is required. We're writing regarding Portland Police Bureau's response to incidents surrounding immigration and custom enforcement facility in Portland, and specifically the city of Portland's use of policing powers in manner that may be based on viewpoint discrimination. Specifically, 3 issues have been brought to our attention." So one of those is the PPB reportedly arrests individuals who may have been involved in an altercation. Okay, choosing to arrest Nick Sortor, but not the others. So the other people that I believe that assaulted him never got arrested. Nick has and has been charged with disorderly conduct. Little side rant: police loves disorderly conduct. It is one of their go-tos in order to get an arrest. PBB reportedly failed to identify or arrest individuals who allegedly assaulted Katie Davis Court, even after a brief detaining the individuals. That's kind of contradicting each other. If they failed to identify, but they had them detained. Okay, well, regardless. And the city of Portland's reportedly attempt to use its policing powers through zoning enforcement action to limit the use of ICE facilities. We'll touch that in a second. While we have not reached any conclusion on these allegations, we know a consistent theme in these three allegations. All three would choose a viewpoint over another. Moreover, the allegation implicated the city's performance under the settlement agreement in the above referenced case. To address our compliance concerns raised by these allegations, we request the following no later than October 10th. The original and unredacted body-worn cameras recording of the officers involved in the observation of the incident involving Mr. Sortor, his arrest, and the process and following arrest. The original unredacted BWC recording of the officers, involved in the observation of the incident involving Miss Davis Court, the brief detention of the alleged assailants, and any follow-up discussions regarding the incident at the scene. All unredacted incident reports, force reports, arrest reports, general order reports, and all action reviews of the incidents involving Mr. Sortor and Miss Davis Court. All complaints received about these incidences involving Mr. Sortor and Miss Davis Court, or the decision to target ICE facility for zoning enforcement, we're going to touch that again, and the city's ongoing administration investigation material involving such complaints. All non-attorney client privileged communications regarding the decisions to target the ICE facility for zoning enforcement. Well, once again, we're going to touch that in a second. And all non-attorney privilege type information is to be regarded the directions the PPB officers response to the protests at the ICE facility in the last 30 days, any documents and explanation that the city wants to provide to the United States in response to the above allegations, they are to do so. Well, guys, this is vitally important because I get very agitated very quickly when it comes to these libtards, these liberal strong-held areas in our country, is that somehow, some way in their brain, they think if you break the law, you are, as long as if you vote for them, they don't care. Break the law as much as you want. We'll set you free. We'll pay for your housing. We'll pay for your foods. And if you are an illegal and you broke our US 8, USC 1325, or even 1326 of that code, you're okay. We're going to take care of you. This is a pandemic. It's an epidemic type symptomatic issue that we're facing. Where in your right mind do you think breaking the law makes you cool, or breaking the law makes you above the law? Have it make sense, guys. Have it make sense. Portland, we know as well as Oregon, is a pretty much Democratic strong area. Little side rant, they're in an oversight hearing. One of our Republican Congress members called them out because they were talking about high crime rate in red states, and he pretty much called them out and said those cities and those statistical numbers are run by Democratic mayors. So obviously he called it out, but it seems like every Democratic city, they have this problem with lawlessness. These aren't simple protests. These aren't people holding up signs saying free our people or people being peaceful. They're literally vandalizing a federal property. They are hurling rocks, Molotovs, incendiary devices, you name it, they are going to war. This is a war zone. You know what I'm saying? And a little food for thought for the mayor of Portland, for anybody within government down there, you are complete effing idiots because you have no authority. Not even state government has the authority under the supremacy clause of the United States Constitution to tell the federal government of what to do with their federal buildings. How are you? This is what I believe. In order to get elected to any civic office, whether if it's from mayor to presidency, and I'm being real with this, I don't mind Trump, but I'm being real with this. There has to be some kind of degree in constitutional law and a degree within civics, because too many politicians in this country have just been running rampant. And, and obviously, the Democrats at the side of the aisle are going to be like, oh, they're just peacefully protesting. There's nothing violent going on. Well, guys, we're going to give a little look of what Katie posted.
Thin. I'm Katie Davis Court reporting for the Post Millennial, and tonight I'm going behind the scenes with Homeland Security's Federal Protective Service, the officers who stand as our nation's first line of defense in protecting our federal buildings.
Well, we've had multiple assaults on federal officers ever since early June.
Well, our officers do a great job. Some of them were 24/7, especially on these protest activities.
Portland is unbelievable what's going on.
So once again, you know what I'm saying, you see the violence. These officers are being assaulted. Their faces are being smashed with rocks. This is not peaceful protesting, okay? This is the rhetoric of the far left. The ICE are gazapos. Trump is a Nazi. They're fascists. They're kidnapping and disappearing people. Well, if you consider us arresting criminals and deporting criminals, then yeah, people are disappearing because they don't belong in this country. Listen, I have compassion for any human being that wants to seek a better life. But you got to do it lawfully. You got to come into this country lawfully. And I fully understand that the immigration system in the U.S. is broke. I'm fully understanding of that. I know that there's a lot of red tape. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that. But once again, you have to come into this country lawfully. Maybe we got to start making things a little bit easier for people to try to seek asylum. Make it a little bit easier for people to become citizens. But a lot of people that are being arrested are not trying to better their lives. They're here committing crimes, bringing drugs, trafficking humans. How many women, how many children are trafficked by these people? How many murderers, grapers, and monsters are being ripped off the streets? Gosh forbid. Sorry. Let me be real with this. God forbid if we are actually standing up for the innocence of the American people. You guys calling us Nazis, fascists, calling ICE agents gazapos, would you feel the same exact way if one of these criminals broke into your house and went after your family? Would you welcome them into your home? Would you just open your door and say, hey, come on in? Yep, I got little kids here, but it's okay that you're a convicted predator. Perfectly fine. Would you be willing to put that on record? No, because, I mean, if you're stupid, maybe, you know. But if you're a logical human being, you're like, yeah, no. You're not coming near my children, not coming near my home. If you think these are such innocent people, why don't you sponsor them? Let them live with you. Oh, no, that won't happen because it doesn't fit your narrative. This is the problem. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to play the entirety of that because it is her. It was hers. And you guys can go check out her X account. You could check out Nick. They'll be down in the description below. But we're going to go look at Fox News. Fox News broke about this.
Nick Sortor, let's bring Nick in. He's still there in Portland, Oregon. He joins me now. Nick, what was going through your mind? You speak to the Portland police for 7 to 8 minutes, and then they arrest you and put you in handcuffs.
Yeah, Kaylee, when they say they make arrests based on observed behavior, in these circumstances, I believe that observed behavior was being a conservative. Just being totally honest with you. You saw the video. There was another video that came out yesterday showing a close-up of what happened, and nobody, even my biggest detractors, cannot take that video and say I was the aggressor in the situation. Simply trying to walk down the sidewalk with my camera. I'm actually walking to my car at the time, and they jump in the way. They block me. They start surrounding me, and I keep trying to walk around them, and they continue to push me, and then eventually one of them throws a punch. So, and then 20 seconds later, I end up in a hole. And then what do I do after that? I get up and I walk over to the Portland police, not to report anybody, because honestly, I didn't expect anything to be done anyway. I just walk over there for a little bit of safety. Maybe it'll calm down a little bit for a few minutes. But instead, I sit there 7 or 8 minutes, and a sergeant.
Real quick, why does a lot of these people that burn the American flag think it's okay? It pisses me off. I'll be honest. It does kind of really pisses me off. It really, really, burns in my heart to see the American flag burn. I don't think these people are mentally right in the head. I'm not a psychiatrist, but it does take a mentally deranged person to burn a flag that means so much to so many Americans. So many gold-starred mothers, so many gold-starred families. Mine included. And obviously, you look at the guy. The guy looks like he's a complete wacko. I think it should be a federal crime to burn the American flag. I think it should be. If it's not already one, I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments below.
Walks up and points to me and says to the officers, cuff him. No reason given. The officers didn't know what they were doing. But in Portland here, Kaylee, at this point, the officers, your rank and file officers, do not do anything unless they are given a direct order to by one of their superiors. So somebody made the call to have me arrested. We just don't know who yet, and I think we're going to find out.
Were any of the agitators who assaulted you arrested?
Yeah, well, that is to be found out, because the agitators decide they're going to wear masks and such. So it's very hard to be able to positively identify who is who. So I don't know, but I do know that that entire night in the city of Portland, while I was in the jail, 3 people came through. 3. So in this entire major U.S. city, there were only 3 arrests total in the rest of the city that entire night. And it's weirdly coincidental, I guess, that I just happened to be one of them when I'm just on the street with a camera. I mean, there are people with iPhones everywhere recording everything while you're down here, and nobody has been able to produce any evidence that I was an aggressor in this situation.
What did police say to you when you're in the police car? What did they say to you then? What did they say as they were processing you?
Not much of anything, actually, Kaylee, because they didn't know for an entire hour what they were charging me with. I was in the back of the squad car asking the officers, and they had no idea. They had to eventually, like, we were getting close to the jail, and they're like, well, we still don't have charges for him. So they had to pull over and wait. And then they got a phone call from their lieutenant, who told them to get out of the car. That way they could talk on the phone without me hearing the conversation. And then they came back with a disorderly conduct charge, which I don't know about you, but the videos that you've probably seen coming out of here, disorderly conduct, setting things on fire in the middle of the street, screaming in megaphones at 3 o'clock in the morning, spray painting the sides of federal buildings, assaulting officers. Is any of that disorderly conduct? Or is, just being a conservative, is that a threat to, their order out here? So that they call that disorderly? I don't know. We're trying to figure it out.
I wasn't aware that journalism was disorderly conduct. I guess now I am, Nick.
Right.
Do you plan on suing the city of Portland or the Portland Police Bureau?
Well, that's to be determined, but what I'm not going to show my cards on that one just yet. But what I will say is I did get a phone call from Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday, which was very nice of her to do. She was very engaged. I mean, just moments after me stepping out of that jail cell, promised that that she was going to order immediately a full investigation into the Portland Police Bureau. And not just for my arrest, but the fact that they didn't bother arresting the dude or the chick, or at least what we think is a chick. You really don't know out here, Kaylee, to be totally honest with you. That beat Katie Davis Court, the Post-Millennial reporter, with a pole the other day. A police officer was standing right next to the person and didn't bother, prosecuting or arresting or even saying anything to the individual. Just let it happen. So the DOJ, full investigation on both of those things. And I think they're going to be royally screwed when what's uncovered, not just in our cases, but in cases of people that don't have the platform or voices that we have to complain about it, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. Nick Sortor, you're a brave journalist, and I hope that you keep up the journalism despite everything that you've incurred, a night in jail and so much more. Thank you so much for your bravery.
Let that sink in. I know from personal experience that law enforcement will try to use disorderly conduct as a way to arrest somebody. because they disagree with what they're saying. Back in 2021, June of that year, officer in my local community arrested me for telling him to do his effing job. Yes, I told the officer straight F word, to do his job because somebody was illegally dumping garbage on my property. And I was in the privacy of my own driveway. So I wasn't screaming. I wasn't on a blowhorn. I wasn't violating no code ethics, nothing of the ordinance. He proceeded to arrest me. Then proceeded to say it wasn't an arrest. It was more of a detainment. We are going to give you a ticket. Long story short, that got thrown out. The judge immediately saw through it. The prosecution saw through it. They're like, yeah, no. This is a civil suit waiting to happen. We're not touching it with a 10-foot pole. But I've noticed that a lot with a lot of police departments. You know, the police chief did come out and say that they're understaffed. That does not mean you don't do your job. That does not mean that you uphold the law. I watched a lot of the video from Kate's side of thing, right? And you are seeing repeatedly, you are seeing people committing disorderly conduct. And Nick said it perfectly. You know, burning things, megaphones at 3 a.m, defacing public property. That's all disorderly conduct. And none of those guys, 3 arrests, including him. Or is it 3 arrests plus him? Regardless, that's sad. And this should be alarming for anybody in this country, that regardless if you're conservative or liberal, that you're being arrested and nobody knows what your charge is until about an hour or so later. That violates your civil rights. That violates your civil rights. And I really don't understand how we could allow this to continue in this country. I don't know how we as a society can continue pushing forward if we allow this rhetoric to continue. If we allow this crap to continue. But I've noticed that the Democrats love illegal immigrants. They love lawbreakers. Prove me wrong. Literally, I'm challenging every liberal out there. Prove me wrong. I'm challenging you. Show me your statistics down below. Chicago is like the biggest prime example of how to run a city if you're a liberal mayor. New York City, Dallas, Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles. I think they care more about the optics of power than they do about actually taking care of the people that lives within their borders, that lives within their cities, within their states. I really do. I think if you are an illegal immigrant, you are more important than the American citizen, according to how Democrats act. As I've always said, actions speak louder than words. Their actions are showing me, a former Democrat, that you don't care about us. You don't care about the American people. You don't even care about the Constitution of the United States of America. And another little side point on this is we just had a superintendent out of Des Moines, Iowa, arrested. Come to find out, this guy isn't an illegal immigrant. And I'm going to do a quick show for you guys, exactly the issue in our system. Take a look at this. DHS has just released more information on the Iowa school superintendent and illegal alien Ian Andre Roberts. He has a very long, violent criminal record combined with immigration fraud. He's also voted in elections. This part here I looked into. He is registered to vote in Maryland, I believe, but it doesn't show that he voted in any election. But this might prove me wrong. His criminal record includes a 1996 charge for criminal possession of narcotics with intent to sell, criminal possession of narcotics, criminal possession of forgery instrument, possession of forged instruments in New York. In 98, he was charged with a third-degree unauthorized use of a vehicle. It was dismissed. A conviction for reckless driving, unsafe operation and speeding in Maryland. 2020, he was charged with second-degree criminal possession of a weapon. That much we knew about. Then 2022, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania convicted this individual of unlawful possession of a loaded firearm. Roberts was also arrested with a Glock 9mm pistol and a fixed-blade hunting knife. This was his most recent. And obviously, he's criminally charged with being an illegal alien with possession of a firearm. This is obviously a timeline In June 1st, 1994, he entered the U.S. at JFK International Airport on a B-2 non-immigrant visa, which means he's basically a visitor for pleasure. He departed the U.S. on an unknown date, but returned before his 1996 arrest for narcotics possession. In 1999, he entered the U.S. through California San Francisco International Airport on an F-1 student visa holder. This visa was set to expire on the 2004. He departed the U.S. on an unknown date. Okay, back in 1999, he re-entered the U.S. Obviously, I said through that. Then, obviously, he again entered the U.S. at JFK in the same student visa. The year 2000, he filed an application for employment authorization in the U.S. I've been looking for this because, obviously, from what I could tell in my last report, he never really had one. But now we have confirmation there was some of these handed out to him. He has, with the U.S. Citizen Immigration Services, approved on April 5th of 2000 with an expiration date of April 1st of 2001. So a 1 year, little over a 1 year. And then how he obviously left in September 30th, 2000. She didn't really put her notes together. Roberts entered the U.S. again at JFK International Airport on that same one student visa. 2001, he filed a green card application with the USCIS, which is an agency rejected. So he was rejected in 01 and which was rejected in 2003. Wow, that is a long wait period. 2018, he filed for another green card application. So from that to there, he's still within the U.S. Another green card application with USCIS, which is an agency rejected on the 30th of that year, May 30th of that year. June 4, 2018, he filed for another green card application, which was rejected again. In 2018, he filed for an employment authorization documents, which was granted on the 18th of December that year, given document expiration of December 18, 2019. These are just some more. He filed for the fourth time. It was denied. Then obviously right here, issued him a notice to appear in front of an immigration judge, and he was ordered for deportation last year. So with that being said, guys, I do question how broken is our system. Like, that school district hired a criminal. I'll touch that within another podcast. It makes me very alarmed that school district had to have knowledge. There's no way you went through all of that and not had knowledge. I'm going to keep up on that one because more is going to come out. But guys, I greatly appreciate it. And let me know down below your take on this entire situation, both of these little situations, and where do you stand? Can you Democrats, can you liberals prove me wrong in the comments below that you guys don't support criminals? Because so far your actions are showing me that lawbreakers, lawlessness is the motto of the Democratic Party. With that being said, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification. And do not forget to comment down below your take on this. And I'll catch you all in the next episode. Have a good night, y'all.